All right. So that's how we're gonna start it off. We was 3 minutes late today, but it's all right. This is the second episode. Yes, the second episode of the Bad Dad Podcast. If you've never tuned into the Bad Dad Podcast, well, if you didn't check out the first episode of the Bad Dad Podcast, the Bad Dad Podcast is simply the manual for us men to become better fathers, for us to be in our child's lives more if we don't live with them, for us to interact with them better if we do live with them, for us to be better stepfathers, for us to be better sons, for us to be better nephews, uncles, godfathers, just men in general, for us to be better people. The Bad Dad Podcast came up because I had a vision, like I never wanted to have kids out of wedlock. I wanted to wake up to my kids every day, and that's just not how it happened. So I have children out of wedlock. I have children in different states, and I just want to become a better father. I want to learn how to communicate better. I want to learn how to, be more emotional with my children, as opposed to just being a dad and being mean and telling them what to do and they have to follow my rules. I want to learn how to ask them how they feel. I want to ask what's going on in their life and make sure that the answers that they give me are effective. So, my special guest today, international recording artist, number one on Billboard, I want to say number 3 right now on Billboard as we speak. Pastor, father, leader of the flock for sure. Great man, great friend, great brother, great son. The man, the myth, the legend, man. D-Mott, man. What's up, D-Mott in the building? Woo!
Clap for me, too.
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How you feeling today, man?
I feel good. First of all, thank you for having me here. This is a very, very important topic, bro. Listening to you talk, I'm going to say this, man, and I think, by it just being us today, like we just, people watching, and that's cool, but we're going to have a conversation to help each other grow.
Absolutely.
Because,
absolutely.
When you asked me to do this, man, I was in. Because, in all honesty, there's a verse in the Bible that talks about a man who doesn't take care of his responsibilities being worse than an infidel. And so people don't understand what infidel means, but it simply means a crazy person. So, like, when you see men who don't really foster that relationship with their children, most of the time you see a man who is unstable in all of his ways. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, to hear you say, I never wanted to have children out of wedlock, or, I didn't want to wake up in houses without my children being there. Like, I too had that feeling. I had that prayer, if you will, you know what I'm saying? And, it happened to me, You talk about me being on Billboard or, being an artist, being this, being that. I feel like those accolades, they made me feel good in that moment, but I do realize that, coming in here talking about this today, the most important thing in my life is my children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just true. I love ministry. I love God. I love relationship. I love responsibility. But if you think about it, man, like, children are a direct, it's just the direct result of an act that you had with a woman to bring forth something that has your DNA, you know what I'm saying? Something that has your genealogy, something that has, this is going to sound crazy to people, but, your faults, you know what I'm saying? Your generational curses. And, it's just interesting, man. I'm here for the smoke. I'm here for whatever conversation you want to talk about, because, we talk off camera,
Right.
before I got here, you said some things that I feel like by the end of this conversation, because that's what we having,
Right.
we both gonna be stronger, man.
Absolutely. So again, the Bad Dad podcast it's for me, but for me meaning like for all of us, because I'm the bad dad of the podcast. I'm the bad dad that I speak of. I'm the bad dad that wants to gain the knowledge. I'm the bad dad that wants great fathers, great men on here, but I'm sure that D-Mott is going to surprise me with things that I've never knew and things that you've never knew about him, as well as this thing and this thing called fatherhood. It's not easy, you know what I mean? And like the reason that I have D-Mott as the special guest today is because he had a stat on Facebook last week where it said, real men suffer in silence because they never neglect their responsibilities. And I'm assuming that goes back to the verse that you were just speaking about, and that raised a few women's eyebrows, and it called, it had a little smoke, what I mean?
Yeah.
It came all the way to me because we friends in real life.
Right,
We're
right.
not friends on social media.
Right.
So somebody hit me on social media like, yo, bruh, hit D-Mott.
Yeah.
D-Mott got the crazy, man, got the crazy stat. You should get on there, man. You should see what's going on. So I went on there and I observed what was going on, and for the most part, to sum it up, because like I said last week in the first episode, this is not about bashing the baby moms. This is about us coming together and being better co-parents, better communicators in all efforts to make our kids better. But it was women on there and they was like, well, men should learn how to not bottle up their emotions and need to talk better and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard for
I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to interrupt you because women have their own set of circumstances. Right. So a woman, I this is how I talk in church, man. The way we get ready to talk. I meant to come to church. I don't mean to cut you off. I meant to come to church Sunday. Me and Corey Green was supposed to come to church Sunday. Wow.
I had my daughter, so I wasn't,
no
church closed, so it was one of those
closed.
things. Come as you are. I know for me,
okay,
come as you are, because I've been in church since I was a baby, but. I was like, you know what? I ain't know how to do the hair. I was like,
this Sunday.
Nah.
Yeah, I get that, man. My daughter be looking terrible. I know they got all kind of testimonies and stuff about how when I had to watch them and come and do their hair, and it just was bad. Yeah, it was bad, but I get it. So we always got next Sunday. Right. But let me say this, man. So yeah, the women, I always respond. First of all, on social media, I respond to everything as a heart. Everything. Mm-hmm. Like I love everything. If somebody giving me their honesty. Me too. Yeah. Which let me say this to everybody. I don't like likes. So when you give me a like, I'm ignoring it. I'm telling you right now. I don't care if you my mama, my dad, all my friends. When you like what I say, I'm like, nah, I ain't feeling like. I'm feeling love, right? So a lot of the women who were making comments based on their failed relationships. So they're making comments based on their mothers or their aunts or their friends' failed relationships, right? So people can only deal with life based off of what they experienced. So who am I to get mad at a woman who experienced a guy who left her with some babies?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who am I to, be offended or try to defend what I said, because that's my truth. Right. My truth is I'm a father. I'm a father, man. I don't care what the mothers do. I don't care what the mothers say. I don't care how they feel when it comes to my children. Right. I'm just going to keep it 100. Right. I care, right, but I don't care. Right. Because I'm a dad and I'll never be a mother. Right. So I'm not going to interfere on their lane. So get out of my lane. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not going to interfere with your lane.
Here first. That's a great way to put it. You know what I mean? Like, I've always encountered different negative interactions with my children's mothers, you know what I mean? But I've placed full responsibility on that because I wasn't the best father, you know what I mean? But me trying, you know what I mean, and me doing what I'm doing, or me saying something about a hairstyle that I don't like, about getting weave in your hair, that causing an argument. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm her dad. I know how the effects of girls with their hair and the short clothes and all that, how it affects them in life, because they be more so looking at themselves or worrying about how everybody else looks at them than opposed to them being focused in school, being focused on being a good young adult. So I used to have beef with my baby mom, my first daughter's mom, because I used to didn't want weave in my daughter's hair.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't want her looking grown. Like, I worked in the schools, so like I've witnessed kids when they first get their hair done, the little girls, they doing this all day.
Focus on
all
their
day.
Focus on their hair.
All day.
Yeah.
They ain't picked up a pen because they so worried about they new dude, they looking good.
Right.
This how mama be doing. This
Right.
you know what I mean? And
Right.
it comes back into, let me get my lane as being a dad and show her this way.
Yeah.
I can't be a woman. I can't teach her how to be a woman. But what I can do is teach her how to be a woman that a man like me want, or a real man want. You know what I mean?
Like that. I like
so,
that.
Yeah, back to you.
No, listen. I wish we had like 2 hours. Because
I mean, we
might have to do.
I was about to say we might, we gonna rock out. You know what I mean?
We might need to do this like next week too, and the week after, because here's the truth. The truth is, there are some things that go back to the beginning, right? It goes back to men and women. I'm a believer in what I believe God, the God of Abraham.
Right.
I believe in Christ, and I believe in the Holy Spirit. I have nothing against anybody else's religion.
Right.
I don't. But what you're saying, as a father of your daughter, that's what I say about my spirituality. So a lot of my being a dad is based on what I believe spiritually. Now, let me clear up something, because I don't want the women coming at me about me saying that I don't care what my children's mothers think. What I'm saying is they have a lane, and so their thought process works up until they're telling me how to think, right? Now, I am a father and a husband. I was a divorced, you feel me? So I only have children in relationship where I was committed. So being committed means that I was paying bills. I'm making sure you don't have to do what you are doing. If they work because they wanted to, right?
Don't have to.
Didn't have to.
Okay.
Still don't, right? But that don't mean I'm in control of their life. It just means I understand and understood my role. So my role is, like, I'm going to handle what I know I have to do. And so then as a parent, co-parenting, you use that word, that term, which is very important. Parents have to understand that whoever you had a baby with wasn't raised in your house with you.
Right. So their beliefs and how they were taught is going to be totally different from you and from what you were taught and what you believe in and what your parents taught you. And it is going to be different from how your parents interacted with each other.
Facts.
If you had a father in your house, if you had both parents,
Great
you know
point
what I
there.
mean?
Great
Things
point
like that all come into effect. You know what I mean? On how people communicate.
Yo, that's a great point right there. I'm glad we're kicking it about this, because that's a great point. Here's the point I'm talking about. When you said, like, some women grew up without a dad. So they are totally masculine and feminine. So when you don't know how to soften up. You don't know how to trust that a man is going to do a man's job, because you don't know what the man's job is, because you didn't have an example. So a lot of the women who were responding to that post, I don't know them personally, but I understood there was some feeling behind it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Now it was married women on that post.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like they were commenting as if, I can't even say it's personal because you never know what people be going through. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
Listen, bro, we got, like, in all honesty, this is not a race thing, right? White people go through the same thing black people go through. Hispanic, like that's one thing I've learned in ministry and playing sports. And
Bad Dad podcast is for all races.
Yeah.
Equal gender.
I like that.
Equal
Thank you.
opportunity.
Yeah, equal gender, equal culture.
Equal genders too, because I have, not to cut you off, but I have plans on having, same gender fathers.
They listen.
It's
they
2024,
hear,
so on the Bad Dad podcast, if you're watching now, if you know
together.
two same gender father parents that I've adopted, please have them contact me. Okay, now back.
Listen, I believe this. Julian, I believe that everybody has a role. And the problem with roles are people don't understand their role. Now let's get back to how we were raised. Like I'm listen, man. A lot of people don't really know a lot about me.
I was gonna say, tell them we just jumped right into it, y'all.
We did.
I said he's a pastor, leader of the flock, national recording, international recording artist, everything like that. So this is D-Mont. He's a pastor. Pastor of what church?
Remnant House Outreach Church, the Rock Movement. Shout out Buffalo, New York. Every Sunday, 12:32 Hurdle, 11:30 a.m. Come, just learn how to pastor yourself. That's what I'm teaching people. I'm a pastor. I'm a father. I'm an uncle.
How many children?
Father of six. Blended household, though.
Blended. Now, when you say blended household, tell the people what you mean.
Blended household. I have two beautiful daughters from a previous relationship. I have four in my relationship now, and four. And I'm gonna say this because I have two biological out of that relationship, but I have two who are like God biological. Like I've raised since they were like little. They know me as dad.
And I don't term step kids for people who be like, hey, they're my step kid. Them like your kids too. You know what I mean?
I don't use that word. Like if somebody said it to me, I'll straighten them out immediately. I don't have no step, nothing. Mm-hmm. Like these are my children. I pay taxes on them. No, for real. I raise them. Okay. I fed them. I spanked them. Maybe twice in their life, because I don't have to do that. Man. No, I'm just keeping it 100 but that's biblical. Right. Like, that's biblical, man. Like, what I mean? People don't want to talk about stuff like that, but I'm going to talk about the truth. The truth is, I don't really have to, I never had to do that to my children because my children listen to me because I stay in my role. No matter what myself and and their moms went through, like, I stay dad. And that's an important name for me. Like that, your children, I don't care if you woke up with them every day. They're going to find fault in you. It's going to happen, bro. Like my girls love me to life. My son love me to life. But they think I'm corny. They ain't listening to my music. They don't care about that. Matter of fact, they get mad when I go to shows and girls cheer or talk to me too much. Like they not feeling that. That's dad, right? So when I'm trying to tell them something about life, they either want to hear it or they don't. But at the end of the day, they're going to listen to me and they're going to respect me because I'm present. Right. Not just present, but I'm available, okay? And I'm constant, and that's the thing. If we're going to talk about anything right now, let's talk about dads. I need y'all to be constant because at the end of the day, I get it. There's some women out here who don't deserve to be called that, a lady, because they don't do what women or ladies do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're not judging them. We're just saying, hey, this is how you act. And so some guys feel like, I'm not about to, respect her. She could do it by herself. I felt like that. There's been times where I felt like that. Mm-hmm. I didn't react on it, but I felt like, listen, you got the answer, then you do it. Figure it out. You figure it out. Then
now, I've never, like, see, it's like in limbo with me. And this is, again, why I needed this. You know what I mean? Like, consistency. Like, I can only remember one thing that I've never given my daughter and that she's asked for. She's 18 years old now. Mm-hmm. And it was like a gift at the time, but I didn't have it. You know what I mean? And, like, I always prided myself in having it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, like, to this day. But it became to the point to where she only calls me when she wants something. So it's like I'm listening to you and I'm like, okay, being consistent and, staying connected and everything like that. Like, I did that part, but, like, where did I fail? Because it's like all she called me for is when she needs something.
Well, you didn't fall. Let's get that straight. You didn't fall. You didn't fail her. But what you did was you taught her how to need you. You feel what I'm saying? She called you dad, I want. Then now you just showing up and you feel like I'm being a good dad because she asking for this doll. She's asking for this weave. She's asking, and then you like, okay, I feel good because I got that for her. But here's the truth. The truth is she didn't need all of that. She didn't, like, our children don't need what they want all the time. So you saying one thing she didn't get, she didn't need that one thing. And it probably was a lot of stuff that she didn't really need, she just wanted. And she felt like, okay, well, Dad's not here a lot, but I know that if I ask Dad, he gonna get it because that's what he does. But, you know, let me say this to you, man. Like, I don't want you to use that word failed anymore. Like, you haven't failed your children. You haven't, like, because what I'm hearing is that you want to, or you wanted to. Listen, this thing, being a parent don't come with a manual, man. Like, I was a bad kid, man. I was sneaky. My mom's side of the family was you know, good people, but they're going to do something to you. You know what I'm saying? So I saw that. I witnessed that. You know what I'm saying? I witnessed beefing and hustling and drug selling and, you know what I mean? Then we had my dad's side of the family, which was the Motleys, the church side, Buffalo. Mm-hmm. But everything in our lives wasn't churchy. Mm-hmm. Like, you feel me? So I learned, okay, this is how you love. This is what love is. But some of that wasn't working for me. So when I got to of age, and I realized, which might I add, I didn't have children until really late in my life. I was the one everybody was saying.
Like how late?
Like 28, okay. 29, to be honest. Okay. Like almost 30, you know, but because of my my lifestyle, yo, he going to prison. He going be in jail. Dude, you going to have 1 million children.
No.
That's what people were saying.
Quick cut off. Yeah. How long have you been pastoring?
13 years.
So 13 years. So how old are you?
48.
So he's 48. My man 48. So you had babies 29. You start pastoring about 35. So from teenage to 29, you was
out of control.
Out of control.
Whore.
Okay. Now I didn't meet
you
that
heard what
guy.
I said.
Yeah. Whore. Right. Whore. Man. Whore.
Streets. You know.
Right.
You went to jail? Every day. I never did that. I should have.
Oh, well.
I should have. Like, but, you know.
God
spared me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I did things like, and this is why I teach the way I teach, bro. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter what even you did prior to this moment right now. Mm-hmm. Everything starts fresh. From this podcast, everything starts fresh. Like when we talking about our children, even me, I'm checking myself because sometimes, man, I'm a little harsh, man. I'm a little harsh.
I'm very harsh.
Yeah, which sometimes it works.
I want to soften up.
You got to, because vulnerability. This is what you got daughters?
All daughters. I
got
daughters. All daughters. Dog.
Listen, I got 5 daughters and 1 boy. But check this out. My boy is all me. Girls. Love yourself, confident, but then watch this. Called to do something for God. So that was my struggle. But here's what I always told God. I got married early because I was freaked out of there. I'm like, man.
Now, when did you get married?
I got married first. I was 21. My first relationship.
So you was out here acting crazy, and then you still got married?
Because I thought getting married.
That was the right thing to do.
And I thought it was going to help me be a better me. Like, you feel me?
Right.
No, let me get something else straight here since we on the damn pod. You know, people know a lot about me not because they know, but because I'm honest about my stuff first.
Absolutely.
Like I'm gonna tell people about me because I'm not gonna give the enemy or I'm not gonna give people the credence or the credit to tell my story.
Right.
So nobody gonna whoop me, you know, and you ain't gonna do nothing to me. So I'm gonna say it first. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to apologize. So I feel like, you know, a lot of the things that I've done as a man is because I'm a man. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm a man, right? So I'm trying to be a good man. I'm trying to be,
but it's hard.
But it's hard. Watch this. It's
man.
hard to be a good man when you got women who, you know,
they looking for a good man.
But then at the end of the day, blaming you for what y'all did. I've never, you feel me? So my thing is, like, when I got to having children, I felt like, man, when my daughter was born, I said, wow, some cat gonna like my daughter one day. Now, I never was the guy to say, you know, this is what it is and it's not that. Like, I'm gonna tell the truth.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if I'm in a relationship and it's bad, and like I'm gonna tell that truth.
Right.
Because that's what you owe people. You know what I'm saying? You owe them that, right? But having daughters changed my life. Just because now I'm like, you know, it's about softening up. Because I have to, like, I can't, when it comes to my daughters, I'm soft, I'm vulnerable, right? Because I want to know what they're struggling with. I want to know, how do they feel about this guy who watched this was like me at that age?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, one of my daughters had a boyfriend, man. I liked the little dude. He did one thing. It went out of hand because I did what a father would do and say, hey, man, I need you to come talk to me. And then, of course, you know, it didn't work because his mom didn't want to deal with the situation. So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, that relationship is over. Because that's what a father does. Right. But mom was like, oh, you know, I got this. I'm like, no, you don't have this because I got this. So it really don't matter what you think at this point. I love you and everything, and boom, 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 and God bless you. But in this situation, this is my daughter. So this is how this is going to end. You feel me? And at the end of the day, I don't care what the comments is about that. I don't care what people think. I don't care if they think they're giving me smoke. No, I'm going to do what's best for my children. Because at the end of the day, that's who I care about more than anything or anyone. I care about my children. Now, I've done wrong to my children sometimes. I've overreacted, bro. I've overfathered. But when you're not malicious, that thing gonna work out, man, and they gonna understand, wait a second, you know, God gave me a dad that loves me and that cares and that wants me to be protected. Because I'm gonna protect mine, bro. I'm gonna protect mine at all costs.
And for, like, if it's any kids listening or if it's any parents watching this with your kids, like, 9 times out of 10, your dad is not a bad guy. Your dad just been through a lot and he knows what could happen if you don't do the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, kids, it's so much easier to do the right thing, and doing the wrong things put you in wrong places. You know what I mean? Making one wrong decision could put you somewhere you don't want to be for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, it's hard on dads because, like you said, bro, like, you real stern, you real firm because them your kids. You love your kids and you feel adamant about your beliefs on what you want for your daughters. You know what I mean? Whether it be a man that's like you or 1,000% not like you. Yeah. You want to make sure that your daughter is being loved properly, treated, you know, correctly. Like, and I'm a mean ass dad, you know, but like it's not funny because like I'm tired of it, you know what I mean? But like, hold on, they be like, you do comedy. How the fuck is you a mean dad? I mean, I'm sorry. How the freak are you a mean dad?
You good?
But
be yourself. I gotta cut you off. Let me interview you for a second.
Come on.
You said that you a bad dad, right? So when I got the invite to do it, and you told me the name of the podcast, I'm like, bad dad. Okay, man, that's interesting. Then you said to me, D, I'm a bad dad, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I wonder what you mean by that. So I know we kicking and we talking. So my question is, like, what makes you think you're a bad dad?
So when I say bad dad, like, I just mean I want to be better. Okay. You know, I want to, you know, my daughter 18 and 10 and like, so we ain't about to wake up to each other, dad, goo, gaga, that's out. But I want to build better relationships because it's not over. You know what I mean? It's not going to turn back the hands of time, but for this time going forward, I want to be the same dad, but different. And when I say different, I want them to know better. I want them to see better. Like, not only, well, dad still got the big parent gonna do everything for us, but wow, dad loves me a lot better. Dad communicates with me a lot better. Dad asks and cares about what's going on in my life a lot better, as opposed to jumping down my throat because I'm not doing good in school, or jumping down my throat because I'm talking back to my mom, or you know what I mean? Baby, what's going on with you? Why are you talking back to your mom? Why your mom calling me crying, talking about she need me to come get you and she's sick of you? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's been incidents where that happened. My baby mom called me, come get your effing daughter, I'm sick of her, and blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. And I go over there to go get my daughter, and my baby mom come out, And me and her get into it before my daughter even come to get in the car. And now she back staying with her. Because, and I'm going to say this respectfully, as they say, a lot of women and their daughters are friends. You know what I mean? And
problematic.
Like, I don't want to be my child's friend, but I want to be there for them like their best friend, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to be, what's up, bro? Let's go to the club. Let's smoke the weed. Let's
You want them to trust you.
No, I don't want to do all that.
You want them to trust you.
Trust me like no other.
Yeah.
You know, and talk to your dad about anything.
Right.
Come to me about anything, any situation, anybody shady, anybody touched you, anybody looked at you wrong. I want to know so I can tell you how to handle the situation because, believe it or not, your dad been through a lot.
Right.
And I just want to teach you and make sure you're not a girl that I encountered and don't want to deal with. You know what I mean? So when I say bad dad, like, I just want to be better, man. And I know that I've messed up. You know, I've messed up shit consistently. Because I got more than one kid out of wedlock. You know what I mean? And
hold up.
What?
Listen, man.
Come on, beat me up. This is what I'm looking for.
Children are a blessing, bro.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not. Let's rewind. I'm a bad dad too, then. Because I want to be better.
But the Bad Dad podcast, in parentheses, the manual for us men to become better fathers. There's no such thing as a bad dad. I'm the bad dad.
Check this out.
And you tell me I'm not the bad dad, so I'm not the bad dad.
Right.
All right, we the bad dads.
I'm the bad dad.
And we gonna become great dad. So I told at the first the first podcast, I said at the end, whether it be 5 years, 10 years, maybe, we're gonna have the podcast that's gonna come from this, and it's gonna be called The Greatest Dad.
But you're never gonna be the great dad to those who's supposed to call you that.
It's no.
And that's okay. It's okay because the children never gonna feel that way. Why? Because you're responsible for what they don't understand. You don't want to be their friend. No, you don't. You don't want to be their friend. I tell my kids all the time, listen, with my children, I'm not your friend. I'm your father. So at the end of the day, I do want to laugh and play with you. I do. But some stuff is not laughy and play because I got to deal with everything. I got to deal with when you're happy. I have to deal when you're sad. I have to deal with when you're depressed. I have to deal when somebody's bothering you. So I don't have the luxury to be emotional. You feel what I'm saying? Not when I'm delegating. Not when listen, I can't be biased. Here's why I don't like to do religion or spirituality with everybody. Because most people that I know that are spiritual are biased. What I love about church and what God is talking to me about is I have no expectation on nobody. Like nobody. Not my expectation is, am I doing what I'm called to do? Right. Am I doing my purpose, right? So when I'm trying to make sure my children are okay, that's my purpose. My purpose is to make sure that my children are okay. So I'm a bad dad because my children love me to life, but sometimes they don't understand that I have to be an adult with them. They don't understand that no, the answer is no, because I'm not playing with you, because I'm not your friend who's going to have fun with you in a way that would be inappropriate for me to have fun with you, right? So I'm not giving my children, I could afford to give my children whatever they want, but I'm not doing that. Even when they grew up, I'm not doing that because I'm doing my job. So therefore, I don't have to subsidize, I don't have to cater to. Like, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And I feel like you got to know your children, too. I know which one of my children can handle having something expensive. Mm-hmm. And then I know which one of my children, if you give them too much, they're not going to understand that they don't need that.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So because I'm present, I do understand the needs of my children. And so being vulnerable will help children trust you. Right? Because they're all different. Aren't all your children different?
Yeah.
I can't treat them all the same. Now
they may have me.
You feel what I'm saying? So I can't treat them all the same. But I can love them the same, but I have to discipline. And that's the word, man. The word is discipline. So if I'm going to discipline my children, I have to discipline myself. You feel what I'm saying? Now that don't mean we going to be sinless, bro. We not. We ain't nobody gonna be perfect. The perfect person, please raise your hand. Right. And then I'm gonna show you a liar. At the end of the day, bro, as fathers, that's the area that I don't want to displease God. I'm not really worried about my children, man. I'm worried about God. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the people at my church, I ain't worried about what they feel. I'm worried about what God knows about what I'm telling them. So I got to handle everything the right way. Even in the music industry, man. People say, I get so many messages from people, man, come back to God. Like, come back to God, come from amongst them. Like, all that kind of stuff. And it bothers me, but I understand where it's coming from. Right? Well, and if it's not coming from a good place, it don't really matter to me. But I can't respond because I know what God is calling for me to do.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And so me doing that, that's how that's really, I think where I'm at in my life now is because I'm there for my children, man. The truth of the matter is, when I was suicidal, because I didn't know why I was here, and I didn't understand why everything I did with people they told.
Now, when was this?
This was like, man, let's go back to 2005, 2006. Getting ready to go through a divorce. Realized, man, that, it was love there, but it was also my reason to try to force myself to be a better person. You just feel like any divorce or any broken relationship feels like a failure. It feels like, man, I failed them. I failed this person. I failed that person. It's disheartening. It just doesn't feel good, man. And so, like, I wanted a pass. I'm like, God, I do know you real, but I can't seem to get it. Like, I can't get this thing. I'm bad at marriage. I'm bad at relationship. I'm bad at, compromising. I'm bad at being vulnerable. But what I found out is, no, actually I'm not. What I found out is I'm intentional. I'm intense. So I'm not going to lose that so that somebody else around me who I'm actually assigned to help can actually die because I won't live right in front of them. Meaning, we are going to sin. So we ain't talking about what we do wrong. I'm talking about, I want everybody to understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about your rights and your wrongs. You got to deal with God with that. Right now, we're talking about parenting, co-parenting. As fathers, it's hard out here. And let's just keep it, it's Black History Month, which I'm feeling a little different about that now. Like, I used to be like, man, I'm sick of that. We talking about blacks and this and that. But the truth of the matter is blacks, Africans, African American, whatever you want to call us, we've contributed to this world.
A lot.
You think about, like, women, y'all better, like, you talking about hair? It was a black man that invented the thing where when women lay back their hair in a salon chair. Like, toilets, like all that. And that's cool and everything, right? That's cool. But this being Black History Month, nobody knows out there what it's like to be a black man in America. Except who? A black man in America. A black man in America. You know what I'm saying? It's sad we got to feel a certain way because we get pulled over. And then one of the saddest things is most of the time it's black police or black this and I'm just like, because I'm not putting I'm not like trying to start nothing here or put no stigma on nobody, but like, man, we good enough dogging each other. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just stupid to me, man. All the black men out there, man, that I've offended, you know what I'm saying, or did something stupid too as a kid. I tried to never be a bully and all that. If I wronged you, man, and you watching this, I apologize. 9 times out of 10, I apologized anyway, but I'm doing it for the ones who I'm unaware of. Because, look, as black men, man, it's hard enough. So you're trying to father children, you got to worry about, are they coming home? Yeah. What's going to happen with my children? Like, we got to worry about police brutality with our children. We have to worry about, in our community, are they going to come home in the body bag? We got to go identify their bodies. Like, it's just a lot, man, that comes with our concern, bro. Not the worry. Worry comes after you don't know how to handle your concerns. You know what I'm saying? And then when you worrying, what is that? Now you sick because That's anxiety. That's depression. A lot of us also have a lot of mental health in our family.
I mean, like being a black man in America, man, it almost comes with mental health, man. Well, depending on where you grew up, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, and I grew up in a fair neighborhood. You know what I mean. It was the hood. You know what I mean. It wasn't the ghetto. You know what I mean. Like when
What area are you from?
I'm from East Delavan, so
Me too.
yeah, you know what I mean. So like I grew up like
The
on Northumberland, and then I moved, past Bailey down to the zoo. You know what I mean? But I always been Delavan, like walk up and down Delavan for my whole life. Like they called me the mayor of Delavan before, it was just the mayor. But mental health, man, like I lost my mother, I lost my father, I lost my grandfather, I lost my great grandmother, I lost my right hand man, I lost my left hand man. I lost probably no lie, probably about 150 friends, and then 500 associates. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm 40 years old. I've been through a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm still a stand-up comedian, and I'm doing shows, and you know what I mean? I laugh a lot, like how Kevin Hart had that one joint, laugh at my pain. You know what I mean? Like, I know somebody older who lost their mom and their dad. They getting high. You know what I mean? Like, so I've prayed, consistently for God to give me strength and for God to make me a better human being and for God to make me a better father, a friend, and you know what I mean? Everything like that. But I never prayed to God to help me with this mental health issue that I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? Because like I could snap at the drop of a dime. You know what I mean? But it's like you ain't gonna play me. But nobody's trying to play me. You 40. You know what I mean? But it's just of things that happened in the past to where I know the cycle. You know what I mean? So it's like even with being parenting, like a kid to try to pull a fast one on you in a second. I was there. Yeah. And I remember my mom telling me, boy, I was in school before you trying to pull a fast one. You know what I mean? You think you slicker than oil. So like a lot of that boils into having mental health issues. And they say that us black men should go seek counseling. You know what I mean? But that's another reason for the Bad Dad podcast. This is like our counseling.
Yeah, and I too have went to counseling for anger management. In my in my like culture, excuse me, or if you will, learning in church. I don't think that it's like really. No, it's frowned upon a little bit to go get counseling because it's like, oh, we gotta come to church and fix this. We're gonna give it to God. He gonna deliver us. We're gonna stand up here, man. We're gonna get prayed for, and it's gonna be better. But we doing that, and we forget, man, that sometimes conversation works. So I started working on myself when I went to get counseling. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing you hit on, and I wanna hit on it just a little bit, is children do play parents a lot, right? Children go to the dad, and then go to mom, boom, boom. I've dealt with all of that. I just feel like, bro, out of everything that we pray for, I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to me. God, I want to pray. God, I don't want to, like women. I don't want to. Man, you're supposed to, nigga. If not, then you liking something else.
Right. Well, no, like, this is my first time being monogamous and like.
Beautiful.
But I didn't pray to God to keep asking. I mean, like, make me not. I just did it, But I do pray to God to keep keep these little heifers away from me, man.
No, he ain't gonna do that. Cause you who you are. You're a comedian, and they look at you and they see you. They like what they see. That's up to us, bro. Right. See, we doing a whole lot of praying for stuff we could do ourselves.
Right.
You feel me? Okay. So my thing, and that was me. Praying. No, you gotta have some discipline. There's that word again. You gotta have some discipline, right? So I got so much stuff that I gotta deal with, man. Trusting, like while trying to trust God, trying to trust Christ and the Holy Spirit, or listening to the Holy Spirit for my life. I said, you know what? I'm going to God for stuff I can do myself. what I need to do is I need to focus on being disciplined. And the first area of my life that I felt like I had to be disciplined in was being a father. I had that conversation with myself. She here is my daughter. Bone of my bone, blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh. I'm responsible for how her life ends up until she's 18, maybe 21 years old. Then after that, if Julian, I've done what I'm supposed to do, because I'm not worried about mom. God bless moms. But I'm worried about me. See, we got to get to the place where we don't compromise who we are called to be as dads. I'm prepared to war for my children. Thank God I didn't have to. But it would have been, because at the end of the day, these are my children. There's some stuff I ain't even gonna say because people probably know, who my I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna embarrass nobody. But there's times where I put my foot in the sand. This is what it is. I don't care who you with. This is what it's gonna be. Because at the end of the day, this is mine. So I have to be disciplined in that area. I can't focus on praying for God. God, I need to be, this better man. And okay, one thing at a time. Be a great father. I think I'm a great father as it pertains to being consistent. But I'm a bad dad because I am human. And you want to hear something else, bro? We not supposed to always be the comforter for our children. Because if that's the case, then what is God's job? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't believe in God. Yo, that's your problem. I do. I'm here because of God. I should have did years. I should have did some time. I should have been dead. That's all real stuff. But God, I can trust God. God is there for me. God never, no, people like, oh, he manifests. Listen, man, I don't even want to hear all that.
Right.
You do what you do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know who got me.
I know where I'm at. In the words of Bishop Gerald Drayton, DeJean, do what you do, and that's all you do. And to be honest, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I'm called to do. Shouts out to my dad, Hammond Motley. He a pastor. I learned some good stuff from him, learned some bad stuff from him. But guess what? It's all for the good. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I grew up learning did not help me until now. Because now I understand that, which takes me back to you. You saying you just want to be better? You know why? Because now is the time. Now is the time. We do so much time. We waste time trying to worry about stuff that we cannot change. Now is the time. You getting older. You wiser. You better. You stronger. You know what I'm saying? You could be monogamous now because you done did what you did.
Right.
And you found out, it ain't all that.
Right. I done been there. What they say, been there, done that.
Been there, done that.
Right.
It's all the same, except how you feel about a person.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, man. We are we PG in here or is it raw? Is it R?
No, I mean, my grandma. I've been talking. Grandma, I know grandma watching. Look, grandma said. Grandma loves. First of all, grandma loves your dad.
Oh, okay.
Remember we saw grandma.
I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good.
She always say when we ride, when I'm taking her to church, right? She say, "Oh, Motley got a whole bunch of people at the church, right? Church on Delavan and Chelsea, right?"
Yeah.
So one day we ride, and then I couldn't remember the name. This is before me and you met.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, "Oh, Reverend Dogood got a whole bunch of people at the church, right?" So she started cracking up, right? So now every Sunday we ride by, I say, "Oh, Reverend Dogood got more and more people, right?"
Right.
So now I meet D-Ma, and I'll go out with Grandma. I'll take Grandma out.
I remember that.
I said, "Grandma, this Reverend Dogood's son right here."
I remember that.
So I told her,
Yeah.
And she said, "I watched last episode. Don't be cussing like that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, rest in peace, my mom. Even with comedy, if you know me, I don't drink before I get on the stage. Rest in peace, my mom. My mom told me that I get too inebriated and start cursing too much while I'm on stage.
Okay.
So now I don't even drink
Okay.
when I'm on stage. It's been 7 years, you know what I mean, since I drunk on stage. After I kill the crowd, I'm having me a shot, you know what I mean? But now I take that into account.
So, like,
And
you
that
see, I
helps.
only said one curse word, and I was, oh, my bad, you know what I
And he
mean?
didn't mean it, Grandma. He
Yeah,
didn't
you know
mean
what I
it.
mean? And, like,
It slipped out.
I'm a sailor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, every interaction, every day, I just want to have a better interaction the next day.
Yeah, man.
Learn from my mistakes.
Yeah, that's the goal, though, Julian. That's the goal. You know, this thing called life is just worth living. You're not gonna please everybody, and don't try to.
Right.
Don't even try to please your children.
Please yourself and God.
Listen, and the way we please God is we do what we're called to do. That's it. You know, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
Sometimes, man, like, you know, I learned some great stuff in church, and I learned some great stuff from some bad people too. This is what I'm trying to teach people. Like, I've learned a lot from everybody because, in my opinion, Jesus is for who?
Everybody.
So I don't do denomination, man. I just don't. I don't do organization. I'm trying to teach people how to get to the next level in God. You know, shouts out to Bishop Bronner, man. I was with him for 12 years. Learned a lot of stuff. He said something to me in Hawaii, man, changed my life. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna talk about it tonight, but it changed my life. There's so many people, you know, even people I've had beef with, man, that we've made up, kissed and made up, and just, you know, understood that at the end of the day, man, life has to be lived. And a lot of people are like not being honest about mental health. I'm glad you did that. Do you know how many people, man, you're gonna help to be like, yo, I need some help.
That's what I want to do. I want to help. I want to be helped. Like, I want help. I want to be helped. And I want to have everybody else help one another. Like, we all in this together.
We all in
Whether
this
you're
together.
white, you're black, you're Puerto Rican, you're African, you're from Guatemala, like, wherever you're from, white, yellow, purple, whatever. You a father, you want to be better, join the podcast. Listen, we going to have D-Mott back on.
Man, we done already,
soon.
man.
Real soon.
What time is it?
Yeah.
Man, I had so much more to say, man. It's just,
I know, I got to get you back on. I ran out of water. I only had our water. I can't get up and leave, you know what I mean, man? We
Are we wrapping it up or
we gonna wrap it up for now.
I want to say one
You
thing. Let me just
you
go
you
on.
gonna come back next week?
I'll come back.
I mean, you can come back
I'm gonna
next
be
week,
back.
and this
I'll
will
be
be
back.
part two.
Let's do part two.
D-Mott part two.
Let's do part two.
All right.
If we offended anybody, we meant to, because we told the truth. We love you. You know what I'm saying? We told the truth. This is our truth. Respect it. I will say this though, dads gotta be consistent. We starting over today. Like, I have mental health issues too because I worry about stuff that I shouldn't worry about. You know what I'm saying? I gotta just do it. We gotta be doers. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm Julian Russell, better known as the Mayor 716. This is the Bad Dad Podcast, episode 2. My special guest for tonight was D-Mott. Phenomenal speaker, man. Excellent man. Father, husband, friend, brother, son, everything, man. If you missed the first podcast, go check it out. Episode 1, we had Tony Shep and Chef Nell. We're going to have D-Mott back on next week. And then we got a real special guest, too, coming next week. So we're going to do the best of both worlds. We're going to have more topics. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Yeah, man. Anything else you want to say? Tell the people where they can follow you.
Follow me. Just go to dmottmusic.com. DMOTT music.com. Everything is there. I love you guys. Nothing you could ever do about it.
Yeah, and see, I'm going to go to church Sunday. I'm going
Yes.
to come back and tell you how he helped me. You know what I mean? God bless, man. We love y'all. Good night, man. For real, man. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming out.
No, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I
man.
enjoyed that. I could go on and on because I think,
know.
man, and
I just didn't have us water. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
we
I
good,
just,
bro.
yeah, man. I didn't
my
want to.
voice is just I'm like that because I sing so much and talk. So it don't matter how good my voice is, I'm always be raspy.
Yeah.
I got to do about a million things before I